Hello and welcome back to Dark Souls. This is the 21st episode, I believe, of Dark Souls. And I'm your host, Spear Balanceholder. Now, I've been doing some more grinding. I know, again, more grinding. Uh, I don't think it's actually necessary to do this much grinding, but it was something I wanted to do because I want to show off these miracles to you. Um, and the first one I want to show off is the Great Sunlight, or the Great Lightning Spear, which we should get after we give one or two more sunlight medals. This is my last one. I believe this would make 10. It doesn't say so. Let me double check. No, okay. In that case, I will have to go and run back to get another sunlight medal. Which actually shouldn't be too hard, but it will take a little bit. I'll show you guys, then you know where and how I farm for my little bugs for those sunlight medals. So, remember that shortcut that we opened up? That is specifically the place we need to be. You might have already seen me getting a sunlight medal there with a previous episode. Wait, not yet. But if you actually want to farm them, you probably want to equip the covetous snake ring, I believe it was called. Covetous gold serpent ring, which means that you will have to manage your equipment a bit better or a bit differently, because you will have to unequip Havel's ring if you have the Ring of Favor and Protection, as I do. And you cannot warp there in most cases. I'm not sure if you can warp there from the bonfire that is after the boss down there, after the Fire Sage boss. But if you can't yet, or you haven't battled or beaten the Fire Sage boss yet, then you will have to go back to Quelaag's sister. And follow this path. Does he drop? No, okay. So it isn't too hard to farm for them. As long as you can manage a Taurus demon, everything's quite alright. You can actually, if you want, avoid these all these Capras. You can just kill them for extra souls if you like, but if you are just here for grinding, then you might as well just jump down here to the bonfire. And how I did it was simply unequip your equipment, your armor, because we will not need it, especially not at this level, and it makes us pretty fast, which is also rather nice. And that's basically because generally I don't expect to be hit, and if I get hit it will only be once, which will not be enough to kill me. So there's not all that much of a threat here. Only the Taurus demon can be annoying if we truly mess up, but he's quite predictable. There you go. Now the worm guy will pop up, and just use any ranged attack. I use the lightning spear. And you will probably have that too if you're going to farm for sunlight medals, so it just makes an ideal target for it. And lastly we have these two statues, but they will never reach you in time, so that's quite easy. I just hope we get lucky and won't have to do a whole lot of runs, because, well, probably if I don't get one medal on the first run, I will probably not continue it. Because I think I know why I lost that one sunlight medal, or at least when I already sacrificed. Because I first offered a sunlight medal to the Covenant. Dang it. And after that I noticed that Solaire was still standing behind besides the broken statue. So I figured I'd go talk to him, and he offered to get me in his Covenant whilst I already was part of the Sunlight Warriors. And I think that might have caused the amount of Sunlight medals registered to be halved again, as would happen when you leave a Covenant. Dang it. It's no luck. Well, luckily I bought some homeward bones, so we can do this nice and quick. But that was it was rather disappointing. It is it's probably something that should be qualified as a bug, because you're going from the Sunlight Warriors Covenant to the Sunlight Warriors Covenant, so that shouldn't inflict a penalty even if it counts as switching. In general, I guess he should not be asking the question anymore at that point. Oh well. It usually doesn't take too long with this setup. It could be a lot easier, I suppose, but it's no problem really. I believe you can also just walk by this guy if you insist. Though he can try to attack you. So I prefer to just deal with him than be on my way. It's a little bit frustrating, all this grinding really, because I've been grinding up to level 100 now, which is probably quite a bit over leveled for a new game. But I guess it just helps with keeping things nice, smooth and quick. And personally I don't mind it. I mean, it just makes the game easier. And if you really want a challenge, then you can even do so at high levels with choosing, for example, the Calamity Ring. So an issue it is not. Come on, buddy. They are quite annoying. They jump around a lot, and that makes them a hard target sometimes. Because they can jump out of the reach of my scythe even. Come on, please be a sunlight medal. Yes, okay. That should be enough. And if not, then I'll just... And if not, then I guess I'll just end this episode there. And grind until I do get it. But I hope that won't happen. This should be what I need. This should be it. I believe I only spent 2 sunlight medals, which means that it was halved to 1 sunlight medal. Meaning I should now be getting... Yes, there we go. Great lightning spear. Alright, Covenant Alliance deepened. Now this is rather nice. We already have 30 faith, as I said, so we can just attune the magic. We can attune it over our old lightning spear. Because we again have 10 uses, and there's really hardly any difference in other respects. But this is what it looks like. Quite a bit bigger, quite a bit more damage. In general, it's a bigger, better lightning bolt. So I would say that's always worth getting it. Now the second miracle I want to show off is also one that is very similar to this one. And for that we'll go to Enolando. And we actually go and have to fight one of the optional bosses in the game, which will actually turn this Firekeeper hostile. Be careful with that, because it means that this bonfire can be disabled through that. And that's not something, well, if possible you want to avoid it, but there simply will be moments when you cannot avoid it. And you can still warp to this bonfire, luckily. but you can't warp from it. So be careful with that if you intend to actually fight this boss. It's not too hard to get there really. All that is required is that the elevator, the rotating elevator in the center of this bridge here is activated. And if it is activated, then you can simply switch it to the right setting, so that you will get access to that boss fight. Do note, however, that this is not necessarily only for the boss fight. You can also join the Covenant that the boss basically offers you before you engage in the battle. I'll show you that off, but I won't be joining the Covenant. It might be very much worth it though, because the miracle you get there is potentially stronger than the one I'm going to get now. This is down, right? Yeah, this is down. Okay. So we're going to turn downwards again, and we need to go down the stairs to the lowest point basically possible. And that will give us access to another bonfire actually. I forgot about this bonfire. It might be interesting to activate this bonfire regardless. And it's possible that you might also be able to warp to here. So keep that in mind. Alright. This ring. Sun's Firstborn. I forgot what that thing did. I never used it, so I forgot what it did. Boost miracles. Boosts the strength of miracles. That can be quite useful at times. But for us right now, it isn't all that interesting. Rather, you want to face this big statue and just give it a good smack. Oh wait, that's right. It's not with a good smack. It's actually a ring we picked up a long time ago. The Dark Moon Science Ring. Just equip it. And there you go. There you go. After that you can again unequip it. And you use Hevel's Ring again. And you'll be faced with a fog wall. And...
Halt! This is the tomb of the great Lord Gwyn. Tarnished it shall not be by the feet of men. If thou art a true disciple of the Dark Sun, cast aside thine ire. Hear the voice of mine self, Gwyndolin, and kneel before me.
So you can kneel here and join his covenant.
Disciple of the Dark Sun, thou hast journeyed far. Hear my voice. If thou shalt swear by the covenant to become a shadow of Father Gwyn and Sister Guinevere, a blade that shall hunt the foes of our lords, then I shall protect thee, safeguarding thy person with the power of the Dark Moon. Very well. We shall not need speech. Exit here and follow thine...
So, you could join the Covenant and it would be a very nice one, I would argue, because it allows you for free PvP interactions, and you will basically go and hunt down people with a high sin rating. Be warned that people might also be trying to bait you and intentionally invite you over, so to speak, with a horde of their own friends and high level abilities and such. But regardless, it is free invading, and if there are still people in your area that actually play this game, then it would be a nice experience. Instead, I will now be going into battle. And I'm afraid that I will not have all that many tools to my availability. Yeah, see, it only has... you're going to be fighting against a boss here that uses magic damage a lot. So you want to get a shield that has the highest magic protection rating. And I'm afraid that we currently do not have a shield that has a proper protection rating. Except for Hevel's shield. That we can use to defend ourselves with. We can use the Crest shield, but its stability is very low. So keep that in mind during the fight. I think I will be going for this though. and hope for the best. I might... do I have Twinkling Titanite still? If I have Twinkling Titanite... Yes, I do have some. Okay, then we can upgrade the shield just a little bit. Reinforced weapon. And make it just a little bit more stable. So now it's almost at 60. It'll have to do, I guess. But it will give you a better defense chance than any other weapon would. We might also want to check out our other equipment. And see if there's anything with a higher magic resistance. That would be interesting. Havel's armor is quite suitable for this. It might actually be desirable. And we can wear it and still be mobile, so that's nice. We won't need a lot of physical protection. So the more you can switch out to Havel's set, I guess. Though the Guardian set here is a little bit better. Yep. That still works, alright. And which are the highest magic resistant leggings? Stone is pretty good, Havel is pretty good. Xanthus actually. Xanthus is by far the best. And that is not the same for the other equipment items. Gargoyle helmet is only beaten by Havel's. So. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange build, I will admit, it's a bit strange. But knowing your enemy, it always is desirable, or almost is always desirable, to adjust your equipment for it. Now, these items have not been leveled, have not been upgraded, but I think that they should be good enough. At least for this boss fight, along with the rest of her skills. So let's see.
What foolishness! Why trespasseth upon the great Lord's tomb, whilst thou art a disciple of the dark sun? Mark the words of mine self, Gwendolyn. Thou shalt not go unpunished.
So here we go, and there he stands. He will warp to the back constantly, so be sure to be prepared to do a lot of running and active dodging like this. Now these you can evade, but it is quite likely that you will, oh dear, not have a proper opportunity to do so. So be careful. These are by far the most annoying ones. Dang it! So he will constantly be trying to kite you like this. And that can be quite annoying depending on what kind of attacks he uses. But if he uses this, his bow, that will often grant you a great opening to do some damage against him. He is quite squishy, so don't be afraid to just hammer down on him. And he has no real way, dang it, of defending himself. And when he uses his bow, be sure to just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Dang it, so close. Now, arguably the hardest thing about this boss battle will be stamina management. And dang it, oh dear. The constant dodging. There we go.
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
Here we go. It is quite an annoying boss battle, I will admit, and it has caused me a lot of trouble in New Game Plus modes, which does mean that I would advise at least getting this miracle if you want it on New Game, unless you specifically intend to do so later or don't intend to do so at all. But if you want this miracle, if you want to get it, uh, along with the items, the other items that lie over here, uh, I would recommend myself doing it as soon as possible, unless you have some sort of ruse. Now this one was empty indeed. And this is my one of my favorite miracles. Sunlight Blade. There's a YouTuber with the same name actually, which I also very much recommend watching if you enjoy my content here. And you get the brass set. Now, by slaying Gwendolyn, we have also sealed the fact that we can no longer join the Covenant, obviously. And all the followers of Gwendolyn will turn against us, which luckily is only one. But I'm not sure if killing him counts as a sin or not. Because if it counts as a sin, then you might also be invaded by the Blades of Darkmoon, his covenant. But yeah. Alright, so we now got a very nice miracles indeed. I will want to attune over force, because force I do not need all that much. And it only has one use, but that's alright, because this is a miracle that we will be using during boss fights. And basically it imbues our weapon with lightning damage. And quite strong one as well. I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, we can see it. It does 700. It has an attack rating of 776. That's quite severe. That's quite severe. And every time you rest at the bonfire, it is again filled up again. So don't worry too much about using it if you stick close to bonfires. In PvP especially, just use it. Just whenever you find an enemy that you have trouble with, just go and use it. Now, the reason I have been doing all this grinding is because I very much dread Manus. And that is in no small part because I will be forced to do it with this shield. And I have praised this shield before, and repeatedly. And for good reason, I would argue. Damn, so many bloated heads. But the thing is, this is still a small shield. It is still a light shield. And against Manus, it usually is best to get a great shield or something that is exceptionally sturdy. Or if you are that good, learn how to properly dodge him. Either way, I have always had much trouble with fighting Manus, simply by the ways that he fights. Now here we also want to be careful because, yep, there you go, lure them out. Always makes it easier. Because there's an ambush here. Oh dear. Get behind the pillar. Their attacks do so much damage. I really do. It's really not funny anymore. But we have got a great lightning spear and we can use that to our advantage in this case. If we can actually lock onto one of them. And there we go. Just narrowly around the corner. Come on, dang it, it wouldn't lock on. And we can stand over here maybe. Alright, locked on. Wait for the attack. Fire our own. There you go, taken care of. And Titanite shard, alright. Now this guy I really freaking hate. And that is because, like the boars, the armored boars that we fought before, this guy is actually resistant to all physical damage that is not smashing attacks. So like the battle axe, doing regular attacks they call it. Basically it's like clubs, axes, that kind of weapons. And this guy is very, very resistant to everything that is not that, meaning both are weapons. On top of that, he is doing a lot of damage often. So personally, I will try and take him out with my miracles instead, with my sunlight, or not my sunlight, my lightning spear. Dang it, get away from me. Because that still does full damage and does not impede my way to fight in any way. Or to do damage rather. There you can see. Oh dear. There we go, taken care of. But you prefer, if possible, don't go in and fight him with a katana, don't go in and fight him with a scythe, don't go in and fight him with any normal sword. Because he will make the fight exceptionally difficult for you and you simply want to take care of him in the easy fashion. Now here's a little trap, but a necessary one. Elevator delivering a little present, so to speak. Alright. And now we go down into the lair. So this is the prison where Manus was held for the longest of times. In fact, this was his cell from which he broke free. We can actually level up. I'll nicely round down the endurance to 30. There we go. And here we enter one of my least favorite areas of the DLC. It has some great reasons to be here though. It is dark but not super dark, so you can still see a reasonable distance. And there is great loot here, but be very, very careful and don't go rushing in to take that bug, to kill that Titanite bug. Because there are people waiting for you if you move in this direction. Ah! You can already see their lights faintly flickering. I don't know if you can see that at lower resolutions, but at 1080p you probably can see the little red dots flickering around over there. And beyond that lies an item, a miracle I believe, or a spell, I'm not sure which it was. But if you want it, be very careful, there is a caster among them. I believe possibly two. So try to bait out the monsters. Oh dear. And try to seek cover if possible. Rocks like these will give you just a little bit of protection. I can't dodge those, so I will have to just lure them out. Get back to a place where I can hopefully fight them. Dang it! Ah! Oh, they do so much damage. Even at level 100, keep that in mind people, at level 100 it still is, and with completely upgraded armor, it still is quite a pickle. Oh dear, that's the wrong side. Bye elevator. So I'm gonna try again and see if I can get what's beyond there, because I do not like to leave things unfinished. I want to show you guys everything that's about this area. Gosh, no, Don't. Not this time, buddy. Not this time. Twinkling Titanite. Alright. Well, let's try again. So here comes the first one. Dang it. And I really wish I could use some miracles or something appropriate here. Wait, I actually can use something. Remember that great bow? Grow's great arrows. And I actually skilled a bit in strength to be able to use his great bow. Now it will probably wear me down, but even so... Will it? Maybe not actually. But the bow is basically the only weapon that you can use here in this fashion. Because you have to two-wield it and you can manually aim it. So what you want to do is aim for the sorcerer and hope that it takes her out in one shot. Which it does not. So get ready and fire a second one. There you go, taken care of. Now basically the only time when using a bow like this is useful is when you know you won't get attacked and stabbed in the back like that. For trying this, gosh darn. So many weapons. Because you leave yourself open massively. You cannot do anything really whilst wielding that great bow. In the sense of melee combat. So you need to be very, very careful when using the bow. But if you cannot target the enemy otherwise, if you need to snipe someone as we did, then this is probably your best bet. Oh, the Abyssal Catalyst. I actually never had that item, I believe. I never actually obtained it. No, I'm fairly certain I didn't. It does cause poison damage, which is rather pleasant. Which is actually strange, because there is an achievement for getting all the normal weapons, but I guess the DLC weapons weren't included in that. Because I have received all the achievements of this game. And here we get something very curious, but also very, very convenient. These guys look familiar, don't they? Let me show you what they remind you of. They remind you of this humanity icon. And that is exactly what they are. They are humanity itself. Now, as pleasant as that may sound, they aren't here as friendly buddies. And if you move down the slopes too quickly, you can perhaps already spot her very faintly near that white light over there, near that item. There's a caster over there. You might want to take that one out with the great bow as well. But generally I like to lure out the humanity. Be sure to use a long-ranged weapon. It is very hard to guess their actual reach. And be very careful with locking on. Because these guys will attack you simply by hovering over you, so to speak. And that will... Lock-on system does not work well in cooperation with that. It can easily send you down a cliff or something like that. So be very, very careful if you are baiting them out like this. But there is a great reason for why you want to fight these guys. And that's because they all drop humanity. In fact, some of them drop twin humanities. And if you actually are in need of humanity, this is probably the best place to go and farm for them. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that caster over there, up there. So either throw yourself into the thick of it and hope that you fight your way out of it, or take out that caster in time. I think I might be able to snipe her from here. Come on, buddy. But I don't want to get blindsided by these humanities, because they actually do cause quite a bit of damage. But I'll grab the bow again. Alright. And I'll aim for the head. Just below, actually. There you go. That's one shot. That's two shots. There we go. Now we can easily approach these guys again without worry again. So that makes my life so much easier. It really is. Knowing that I will not be barraged by those dark sorceries from a distance. Gosh darn it. Alright, there we go. Those taken care of. Come on, get over here. Get over here. Now, because they are somewhat incorporeal, or non-corporeal, I believe it was, it is actually somewhat hard to actually guess their position, because basically they are flat 2D images moving around in a 3D space, making it quite somewhat difficult to accurately understand their position. But if you can get past that, they are quite alright. They drop a lot of humanity. Actually, surprisingly little how the amount they dropped just now. And if you actually get over here, you can follow this path down to Manus. But before we do that, we need to go and find an old friend. Or well, actually, he will be new. But you do that by going over to this ledge here. And it will fade away. And that will probably give you a good scare. Be careful, don't fall down. And you will see a cat over there. She looks a lot like Alvina, that cat covenant lady from the Darkwood Garden. Don't go chasing after her blindless, because there are some humanities still floating around. So be sure to take out the humanities as you go. But more importantly, by choosing this path, you will actually open up a new shortcut. Oops. Alright, that's one. There you go. Nice. So that takes care of these guys, and if you go over here then, you can activate the elevator, go all the way up, and this is a long one. This is a really long one, because this one will bring you back all the way over here. And where is here? Why? It is actually over here, before the Artorias boss fight. And this was to give us an opportunity to speak to the NPC that invaded us last time. What's up, Chester?
Oh, you. You have quite some nerve. Or are you just thick? Fine then. What is it that you need? Did you really slay Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, magnificently so. Believe it or not, Abyssal has brought the Abyss upon itself, fooled by that toothy serpent. They upturned the grave of primeval man and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking? But to you and I, it's all ancient history. You have to ask yourself, does it really matter?
Anything more?
Well, you've quite the nerve. I've had enough of you.
So he is obviously a little bit flustered over the fact that we managed to beat him last time. And he will still sell his usual items to us.
Well,
But he
I'll
will
be
not
seeing
speak
you.
any further. So that's quite interesting. It's quite fun that he actually responds to the fact that we beat him. But we have to go back to the Abyss, and that means following this elevator again. It is so convenient to have this elevator that brings you down all the way to the heart of the abyss, basically. Chasm of the abyss. And as the message says, an illusory wall is over here. And here we find a rather odd scenario. Because it looks like there's a wolf flying over there with some kind of ward protecting it from the humanity. So let's go and find out. He has a nice big sword. So let's get rid of these humanities. Alright, there we go. And what's up, dog? So he will fade away. A little bit odd, I will admit. And he will give us the cleansing great shield. So I am somewhat curious what the description actually says. Not only that, it gives very nice stats. It gives an 80% physical reduction, magic reduction of 80%, fire of 80%, lightning of 70%, and a stability of 77%. That is a decent great shield, especially if considering that it only requires 31 strength to wield it. Definitely a very nice shield that we could have used for the battle against Gwendolyn. But it could be helped. Great shield strike tech. The steel great shield used by Knight Artorias, who succumbed to the abyss. Artorias, deeply scarred by the abyss, used this to form a barrier to protect his companion Sif. Although this drained the shield, its magic defense remains high. So that's quite neat. So now we know the name of the wolf we just saw here. It is actually the companion, a great friend to Artorias. Wielding the same sword, in fact, and he was protected by the great shield that Artorias left for him. That is why the shield is now so battered and damaged, because if you take a look at it, I'll show it off. It definitely looks damaged and tainted by the Abyssal even. But despite that, it still is sturdy and quite usable. And in some cases it will be absolutely marvelous shield, I would say. So we now have a few paths that open up to us, along with this one. Again, 20 humanities. Always nice to find such items just lying around like this. 20 humanities. Humanity. Come on, buddy. There's a big one. Small one. Alright, Black Flame. A pyromancy that I believe is actually afflicted with taint of this area. So let's take a look actually. Black Flame, a pyromancy discovered from the dark of the abyss by a pyromancer who wandered into Ulusil. Conjure a great black flame in one palm. Black flames are weighty and inflict physical damage, enough to smack away the mightiest of shields. So this is very much a neat little toy if you are a pyromancer. Right, heal up for a moment because I don't want to get caught off guard. There's some more loot up there, but we can't reach that for now. And it says praise the sun and higher. Okay, so probably someone tricked people into dropping down this ledge then. Oh, here's actually the sorceress we killed earlier. She must have fallen down. There's nothing else here right now. So let's get back up. Follow this path over here. And be mindful if you have not killed the caster yet. Dark magic caster. She will be standing over here. Imminent amazing trap indeed. That refers to that sorceress. Try luring out. It can help. You can actually have her falling down either the cliff or down to a level where you can easily beat her. But I personally, if you only pass by it once, you can always strike her from behind afterwards if you activate the elevator. And otherwise, you can simply run by like this. Gorgeous view. Yes, it is quite a gorgeous view indeed. And there's a little something something over here. Be very careful. Twin humanities. And here we can see the fog wall. And here's a little side path. Let's take a look at it. Oh, oh dear, oh dear. Now it also completely ignores shields, the attack that the humanities do. Despite being not all that dangerous, it's for short whiles. But yeah, White Titanite Slab obviously is very, very useful if you like divine weapons and are very much specialized in miracle uses. Neat caster. Here we go, take those out. Drop anything? No. And over here we have a few more humanities that we can slay. Oops, 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 oops. Careful. No, 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 no. Don't sneak up like that. Alright. There we go. And Soul of a Hero. Along with a message. Praise the sun. There's not a whole lot of sun here. Now, let me show you guys a little thing that you can actually do if you are one of those guys. You can see those little red dots down there. And that actually is Manus himself. And that means, I hope I can show it off. I know it can be done, but I know it's a bit tricky. I don't know if we can do it with Gross Great Bow, but we can try. No, we can't aim down that far. But there was a way, I know, you can look it up online, how you can actually cheese this battle by simply filling him up with arrows before the boss fight even starts. Maybe we can do it like this or something. Like without actually aiming. Come on. Yeah, see, you can fire those arrows downwards. So if you are good enough, you can actually hit Manus himself all the way down there. And that can give you a significant advantage in the boss fight, but it is very, very cheesy and very, very tedious. It will probably take a long while, so I would recommend it. But if you really are super stuck on this boss fight, it can be an option. And be sure to have the silver pendant. I cannot stress enough how important this item is for this boss fight. Alright, here we go. This is madness. And boy, do I hate this bugger. He actually has the, oh dear, highest health ratings out of any boss in the entire game at any given point. And you want a big massive shield against this guy if you can get one. And don't think you're safe anywhere. He will use that tail to simply strike you from when you are behind him. So you can see how he is very, very aggressive. Very hard to properly deal with, giving you very small openings only. And much vaguer ones than with the Artorias boss fight. And that combo especially. And that only glanced actually. It wasn't a full-on hit that he did cast just there. But yeah, he is... oh boy. Dang it. Can't run away in time. Just let me get away for a moment. Chance to drink some. Move to the back if you see his combo, because it's not a pretty one. Oh! And careful with locking on when he does the jump attack. I actually have completely forgotten most things about this boss fight. I have not prepared in any way, I might add. I have not watched any videos in preparation for this fight, because for some reason only one thing really stood out to me when fighting this guy. And that's not the fact that he actually is quite vicious in his attacks. I mean, sure, that was an element I remembered, but it was not the thing that is the most bothering to me. Strikes like these, they aren't too surprising. It's a bit what you expect. Oh dear. There you go. Oh dear. And be careful, because... damn it. Tried to heal at the wrong time. There you see why I dread him. It is not his physical attacks, it is his magic. Because even if you use... I actually want to warp. If he uses that magic attack, there's a chance that it will simply accumulate at the top of the barrier that the shield creates with that pendant. And that will simply fall down upon you if you actually are not able to move out of the way. So that's a very, very pleasant situation. That basically means that you will get hit by a whole bunch of magical attacks all at once, doing a whole ton of damage. And keep in mind, we're level 100. A level 100, I believe, is much higher than is required to finish the game on without the DLC. Actually, I forgot to do something. Because we killed that bonfire that we came from, but we only warped to it. Again, only warping to a bonfire will do nothing except move you from place to place. It will not cause you to respawn at the bonfire you warp to. It will not refill your Estus. It will do absolutely bonkers all except just warp you. So we now have to go rest. There we go. Now we have 20 Estus flasks again. Great advantage about this boss fight, however, is that you will be passing by a lot of humanity. So if you are concerned about losing your humanity, well, I suppose you don't need to be. Because it is actually officially the best place to farm for humanity in the game. So... let's hope that this time will be better. I believe as well that there is actually a summon for this fight. There is actually an NPC you can summon. But I don't believe he was all that super useful, except drawing attention. But even so, Menace is very aggressive, very quick and everything. This is not the right path. So it is very, very hard to properly deal with Menace one way or another. And that pendant is basically the only thing standing in the way of you and his magical attacks. So here, this is as well a tactic that you might want to employ. Simply remove all other consumable items except the Estus Flask and the Silver Pendant, as well as anything you might need during or prior to the boss fight. Because that will allow you to much quicker switch between the pendant and the Estus Flasks. Which is probably something you want to have, given this boss fight. It's a very unique one in that sense indeed. And we actually were a bit of a doof because we forgot to enchant our weapon with lightning, which we actually can do now. Taking a little bit of damage isn't too much of an issue. If you have the heal spell again, simply use the heal miracle and you'll be good to go. Because you won't be able to use it in this boss fight. It will be absolutely, absolutely impossible to use this thing. So, here we go. It doesn't last too long though, so be quick about it. Get into the fight. Here we go. Dang it. Despite his tail attack, it is probably still safest to try and hit him from behind. I believe there was an angle that was wiser, but I'm not sure which that was. It might have been his staff side. That is to say, his right side. Oh dear. Ah, dang it. No, 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 no. It wasn't a good point. Place and time to heal. Come on, buddy, work with me. And there we go. The miracle is already worn off. So it really is only a brief moment that you will be able to use it, but it will give you that bit of a damage boost during the start of the fight. And that is always welcome, I would argue. Something as well that might be interesting to you is the fact that this is the hand that gripped us at the portal in the Darkroot Garden. And pulled us towards Abyssal. So he actually engaged this boss fight before we did in that sense. Oh, that was lucky. That was lucky. No, 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 no. Okay, magic attack. That is a little bit of damage I'm willing to take in exchange for knowing that I did not take all the magic damage. And he will start using magic about halfway down his health, and he will be using it repeatedly. So I had to dodge there because otherwise I would have again been hit by the residue magic basically. So I had to make that sacrifice. I haven't actually found my bloodstain yet. Not sure what is up with that. But oh well. Dang it! Oh, that was close. I actually had my oh dear. My magic thingy equipped. I saw my bloodstain and I'm gonna try and get it. Okay, there it is. Come on. Just allow me to get it, man. That's all I ask right now. There we go. Retrieval. Yes. No, 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 that's the wrong one. Ah, oh, dang it. Heal. Yes. Oh boy. Thank gosh. He broke her defenses there. Damn it. Try to dodge it. Okay. Back in the game. Whew. Nope. Not this time, Menace. There we go. Whew. Okay, what's next? No, 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 no. Damn it, I hope to strike your hand. So you will need to combine both dodging, there we go, and shielding. Whew. Oh boy. Soul of Menace. A bonfire has appeared. Get 10 humanity. And... she won't be able to speak to us. So, let's light the bonfire, shall we? Whew. That worked out much better than I had expected. There's nothing here in the Abyss except for Princess Dusk. But I want to show something before we move on. Now look at these 3 items, or these 4 items. We have Humanity, Twin Humanity, Soul of Artorias, and Soul of Menace. The Soul of Menace actually looks more like Humanity, but with some dark aura around it. The Soul of Artorias looks like a normal soul, but again with that same kind of corruption flowing around it. This again suggests Soul of Menace, Father of the Abyss. This extraordinary soul is a vicious, lukewarm hump of gentle humanity. Ancient Menace was clearly once human, but he became the Father of the Abyss after his humanity went wild, eternally seeking his precious broken pendant. Yep, that's right, people. This item is the entire reason this all occurred. Why the DLC happened, so to speak. And it was put in the game purely for the sake of the DLC. So there you go. From the bonfire we can now warp, and I suggest that you warp back to Sanctuary Garden. Actually, no, not Sanctuary Garden. That's the wrong bonfire. That's the one over here. That's not where you want to be. You want to warp to Abyssal Sanctuary. Because here is our quest giver.
I have awaited thee. Thou hast rescued Princess Dusk and rid us of that terrible primeval human, even halting the spread of the Abyss. I salute the grandeur of thine enterprise. Please allow me to express my gratitude. I thank thee, as do we all.
Elizabeth's mushroom. We can still trade with her.
I will remember thee, but I will keep thy story to myself. This is the best way, for thou art come from a time far ahead. No one will sing thy praises, but yet thy greatness shall live on, for it shall be my purpose to remember all thou hast done for us. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all. I am.
So there you go. I am actually curious about one more thing before I end the episode, and that is if our old friend Chester has something to say about all this. Because Chester has been making comments on us beating Artorias, so he might be interested to talk to us about Manus. Heck, maybe even Grau will be talking to us about it. Ah! Here he is.
Oh, you have quite fine then. Well,
Nope.
I'll be seeing.
But even so, just by the things we've seen, we can now spin a rather unnerving tale, really. They mentioned a serpent that rose up in these lands and spread the word about a primeval human buried somewhere beneath these grounds. The people of Ulusil listened and eagerly sought after this human, uncovered it, engaged it, studied it, and all it had was this one little necklace. And at some point he lost the necklace, and with that all his self-control over his own form. When he lost that control, that is when everything regarding the abyss, the darkness, all transpired. For he was once human. He was once, as often said, the furtive pygmy, the last of the great souls of Dark Souls. Anyway, that has been the DLC. There is actually one more boss fight, but one I will actually not fight because I freaking hate that boss fight. You can find that simply by going back to the area of the Sanctuary Garden, and there you can have fun with fighting two of them at the same time. I will not be doing that. But yeah, this has been it for this episode. This has been the DLC ending. And I hope to see you all in the next episode. I've been Spare Bounce Holder, and I wish you all a very nice day.